You don't want him to tie you up.
Crawford has over a 70% knockout percentage in his career, and many wouldn't mind seeing Shakur Stevenson evolve into that, especially in a potential match against Gervonta Tank Davis. Like many fans, you're likely tired of WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson's fighting style, and deserve credit if you didn't doze off during his last fight against Harun. Boxing fans have labeled him a boring fighter, though some professionals soften the critique by calling him a defensive boxer. Still, not everyone shares that view.
You know, but Shakur, that guy will put anybody to sleep outside the ring, not inside the ring.
They believe Stevenson has taken Pernell Whitaker's hit-and-don't-get-hit boxing style to an extreme, avoiding punches to such an extent that it affects his offense. As Roy Jones noted, his reluctance to take punches prevents him from throwing heavier shots. No one buys a ticket to watch a boxing match turn into a foot race, but despite this, Shakur Stevenson is still globally recognized as one of the most skillful fighters in the sport. It's true that fans are naturally drawn to knockout specialists, but despite his lack of power,
Shakur Stevenson is born with his fighting style or anything like that. I disagree 100%. I don't know if people are even saying that or they think that he's overrated or anything like that. Let's also look at the fact that he will counterpunch.
Everyone agrees that Shakur Stevenson's boxing skills only need slight refining. His punches need a bit more power, and he must open up his defense slightly to allow for better offensive opportunities. This fine-tuning is precisely why Stevenson has turned to Terence Crawford for guidance. Terence "Bud" Crawford recently moved up to super welterweight and defeated the top champion in the division, Israel Madrimov, by unanimous decision, becoming the new WBA super welterweight champion and a four-division world champion. With no immediate fights lined up for Crawford, especially after Canelo Alvarez declined a massive showdown, Shakur Stevenson, who has a busy schedule ahead, sought the help of his mentor and friend. Crawford, known for his high boxing IQ, power, dexterity, and strong defense, is regarded as one of the smartest fighters of this generation. While Stevenson doesn't need defensive training, as his defense is already solid, he turned to Crawford to help improve his offense and punching power. In a video, Stevenson is seen throwing punches at Crawford's pads, pushing himself to hit harder each time. Crawford also took time to explain some lessons to Stevenson and assisted him during practice, which may be exactly what boxing fans need to regain faith in Stevenson after his lackluster performances in his last two fights.
Dre said go to the right. I went to the right, he started going left.
Go to the right.
Bro, one of y'all said go to the right.
And
And I
cut him
went
off with
that
your
way.
jab. You weren't jabbing, bro.
Yeah.
You was just following.
I was trying to get him.
With this glimmer of hope, fans can now look forward to his next bout, expecting to see a fighter who will stand and trade punches, rather than one who moves around the ring defensively. The defensive master and three-weight world champion, Shakur Stevenson, won the vacant WBC lightweight belt against the hard-hitting Edwin de los Santos, securing a unanimous decision by skillfully avoiding most punches and scoring when the opportunity arose. However, in his first defense against Harun this month, fans felt that once again, Stevenson didn't turn up the aggression, coasting to another points victory. In a post-fight conversation with Terence Crawford and Andre Ward, two of boxing's sharpest minds, Stevenson wasn't spared an honest assessment. Crawford pointed out that Stevenson needed to throw more punches. The behind-the-scenes moment, captured by Top Rank, revealed Crawford's desire to see more offensive output from his friend. Hit him off with your jab. You weren't jabbing, bro. You were just following him. You gotta jab your way in, he continued. These body shots were hurting him, but you weren't letting your hands go. You were just picking the pace up with your movement, but your hands weren't. He was throwing you off with feints. That's why I kept telling you to feint him back and jab. Stevenson made his case in return, saying Harutunian was in there to survive. He has received criticism from fans, analysts, and fellow fighters,
You wanna let your
but has
hands
been
go. You
keen
was
to
picking
fight
the
his
pace up
corner
with
on
your
social
movement.
media, as
But
well
your
as
hands
vowing to
wasn't,
keep improving
you
in
know
the gym
what I mean?
ahead of his next bout. In his training session with Terence Crawford is surely where the improvement begins. Recently, a press release from Matchroom Boxing and social media post confirmed that the lightweight champion has signed with them. It did not specify the length of the deal. However, the first fight of this partnership is official, on the undercard of the undisputed light heavyweight clash between BBV and Dimitri Bivol. Stevenson faces Joe Cordina. I am ready to start this next chapter of my career, and it begins on October 12th with Joe Cordina on the stacked Riyadh season card.
Like kind of had that. He was solid though. No cap, he was solid at first. I'm like, damn, he bouncing. He won't stay in the one spot.
In Saudi Arabia, said Stevenson in the press release, I've made it clear that I want the biggest names and the biggest fights in the sport bring on William Zappa at the top of 2025, and I'm ready for anyone who is brave enough to step in the ring with me. With Matchroom and Riyadh season, I am teaming up with a promotional force that matches my world-class talent. We will be unstoppable in and out of the ring, and I will continue to show my dominance for many years to come in the sport of boxing. I am delighted to welcome what I believe is a pound-for-pound great to the Matchroom team, said Eddie Hearn. Shakur Stevenson is 27 and already a 3-division world champion and might be unbeatable in the sport of boxing. This young man should be a global superstar, and I believe with our machine behind him, he will land all the big fights and receive all the credit that he deserves. The journey begins on October 12th in Riyadh on a huge card, and we cannot wait for the future together. And in a mocking attempt to make fun of the fight, Gervonta Davis's co-trainer Kenny Ellis tweeted on Instagram saying, "Get your tickets now." As soon as Stevenson learned of the comment, he took to social media to respond to Ellis, posting a screenshot of Ellis's daughter's 7-3 record and teasingly saying, "Come on, coach. Kenny, Ellis, stay focused." Stevenson expressed his belief that 3 defeats in 10 fights are too many. Shakur is trying to rise to fame and prepare for a potential matchup with Tank Davis. His stock has fallen as a result of his recent poor performances against Artem Harutunian and Edwin Deos Santos. Thus, he wants to boost his popularity. Due to a recent 8th-round knockout loss to Anthony Kakash on May 18th, Shakur will not benefit in any way from defeating the 32-year-old former EB Super Featherweight champion. Cordina boxing fans have already harshly criticized Shakur.
Don't do that, because he's not going to let you fight Tank.
Whoa. See, he contradicted himself.
Don't
Bill,
I'm telling you.
For selecting Cordina. For several reasons. Whatever level of dominance Shakur achieves over Cordina, it will never compare to that of K-Cat, who is all over him in that fight, punching and beating the live daylights out of him. Shakur doesn't fight in that manner, and he will probably use boxing to win in 12 rounds. Since he hits too hard, Shakur can't risk battling. The way Anthony Kakachi did, he lacks bravery. Shakur is too risk-averse to fight in that manner, while K-Cat took some heavy hits in that fight in exchange for knocking down Cordina in the 8th. Stevenson, who is 22...
Bill Kenny, you contradicting yourself, Bill Kenny.
Why does Bud leave him?
And has 10 knockouts, will try to win the title for the second time. Last month, he successfully defended it via a unanimous decision over Artem Harun, coming off his first career defeat. Cordina lost the International Boxing Federation's super featherweight world title to Anthony Kakash via technical knockout in the 8th round in May. After promising to beat up Artem Harun, Shakur Stevenson delivered his promise, but whether he did it in an impressive fashion is a question many fans will answer negatively. Shakur Stevenson...
He couldn't make the big fights.
So why y'all able to make the big fights with Lomachenko and...
He was out to make a statement. Before was out to take on Artem Hearn on Saturday night at the Credential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Stevenson, who is now undefeated in 22 fights with 10 knockout wins, and H-Union headlined a top rank on ESPN card that also saw Osaki Foster lose his World Boxing Council junior lightweight strap against Robson Kona in a very controversial fight. Stevenson is a significant favorite against Harun, yet much was on the line for the 3-division titleist in his latest headlining event on ESPN. That was the last fight on his contract with Top Rank. So the athletic southpaw naturally wanted to send a message to not only the other top 135-pounders.
The first time I wasn't really that hurt. I was more surprised. Like I said, he went in there, he jumped on me, just like he knew he would, but I was just sleeping. I would love to rematch. I gave him a shot. It's only right.
But also other promoters by beating Harutunian in emphatic fashion. "I'm going to take him to a level he's never been on," said Stevenson during the final press conference. "I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to come out and show my talent and show my level." He continued explaining his boxing style in the most impressive way, hoping to win the heart of the boxing fans who'd given up on him. "I think I'm one of the best in the sport of boxing at hit and don't get hit. There's a certain way of doing that, and I want to show the fans that all that moving around is something I don't really have to do. I can sit in the pocket and beat you up. Too sadly, the fight was far from what he had promised. Stevenson entered Saturday night looking to continue his win streak in the lightweight class. Harutunian came out of the gate with more energy, darting around erratically to throw off Stevenson's game plan. His plan worked on defense, but he struggled to land punches on Stevenson, who displayed a masterclass in avoiding punches as the bout wore on. Stevenson found his rhythm and wore Harutunian down. By the end of round 6, ESPN statistics
your fights here. Talk about home and community and what that day yesterday was like, Boys and Girls Club.
It means everything to me.
showed Stevenson landed 74 of 163 punches. 45%, that was miles, better than Harutunian. 31 of 195, 16%. Stevenson won the fight with judges scoring the about 119, 109, 118, 110, 116, 112 in his favor. That wasn't a sure thing, though. The co-main event between World Boxing Council, World Super Featherweight Champion Osaki Foster and Robson Conesa saw a huge surprise from fans and announcers. Foster was in control throughout the match, but Conesa won by split decision, 116, 112, 112, 116, 115, 113. Despite Hearn's aggression in the later rounds, there would be no surprise result. Stevenson ended Saturday's bout as he entered it. World Boxing Council lightweight champion Stevenson retained his World Boxing Council lightweight title via unanimous decision 119, 109, 118, 110, 116, 112. In the first round, Harutunian stayed active early on, moving a lot more than Stevenson to start the bout. Stevenson caught him with a counterpunch multiple times while staying just out of range.
Nice. Artem. As these early rounds develop.
His defense was fully on display in the first frame. Moving to the second, Harutunian less predictable movements forced Stevenson to take extra time to decide how to attack. Stevenson avoided most of Harutunian punches and only peppered him with a few hits. In the third, Harun continued to be the more engaged fighter. He landed a couple of big hits in the middle of the round. Stevenson finally connected on a big hit in the final minute before Harutunian had him on the ropes to close the round. The fourth round came and Stevenson hit Hearn with a big combination. Midway through the round, after a slow first 90 seconds, Harutunian tested him with an uppercut, but Stevenson managed to dodge it. Stevenson closed the round with one landed hit among multiple misses, just as they began the fifth. Hearn landed a few punches early and kept the aggression up into the second minute of the round. Stevenson powered back, though, with multiple big hits, including one to Harutunian head. Stevenson ended the round in emphatic fashion, with a couple of powerful shots to Hearn's body in the final minute. It was not until the sixth round that Stevenson found his rhythm well, with a mix of aggressive shots, dodges, and defense. Harutunian fired multiple powerful shots, but only connected with Stevenson's shoulders after moving a lot in the opening rounds. Hearn looked slower in the final minute of the round. Getting into the seventh, Harutunian came out with more energy after a sluggish finish to round 6. Stevenson responded with multiple shots, including a powerful left-hand hit. He's still managing to avoid contact from many of Harutunian's punches. Stevenson landed multiple sweeping left hands to Harutunian's face in the final minute of the round.
Never. He steps that up. The process of starting you is there. He can dip it underneath.
Entering round 8, Harutunian came out with more energy again to stay in front of Stevenson's. Both boxers moved around the ring more than usual in this round, before Stevenson landed some strong hits to Hearn's body. When it was the 9th round, Stevenson started more on the defensive in this round. He powered multiple big punches in the second minute to Hearn's body, specifically with his left hand. Harutunian went defensive in the final minute of the round before fighting back and landing a big hit to Stevenson's face in round 10. Hearn continued his aggression from the closing minute of round N. Stevenson responded with body shots. In the second minute, Hearn fought back with jabs to Stevenson's body in one of the closer rounds of the bout. I'm getting to the penultimate round. Harutunian came out, swinging in the opening minute. Stevenson went on the defensive, much to the disappointment of fans in his hometown Newark, who booed him in the second minute. Harutunian continued to go aggressive after the result from the co-main event. Anything is possible. And finally, the defensive clinic continued for Stevenson, who forced Harutunian to land just 177% of his punches. Some of Stevenson's best punches came in a combination. In the middle of this round, both boxers went to heavy swings to close the round, but managed to avoid each other's big hits. While Gervonta Davis remains the long-term goal, it appears the hard-hitting tour to force Zappa is next in line. If Stevenson gets past Cordina Matchroom,
4-punch combination with the right hand to the body.
Stevenson will have an introductory press conference in Los Angeles next week to provide further details on their pact. Stevenson is the latest American star to be added to the Matchroom roster, joining IBF welterweight champion Gervonta and WBC superflyweight champion Jesse Rodriguez on the heels of signing Shakur Stevenson with his Matchroom Boxing. Eddie Hearn is speaking out about grand plans for the WB lightweight world champion. Stevenson will defend his title against Joe Cordina in Riyadh on October 12th, and Hearn has even bigger fights that he wants to nail down for the Newark, New Jersey native. For me, once we've done our work over that 6-month period,
this kid is. He may be unbeatable. I know he's a pound-for-pound star. There's something about Shakur Stevenson's mentality.
Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson will be the biggest fight in boxing after the recent official news of Shakur Stevenson's signing with Matchroom. Its promoter Eddie Hearn discusses his plans for Stevenson while also touching on his ideas for Gervonta and others on signing Shakur Stevenson. He said, "I feel like I've promoted Shakur Stevenson for years. Really? Because I've talked about him for years. I know my boxing and I know how good this kid is. He may be unbeatable. I know he's a pound-for-pound star. There's something about Shakur Stevenson's mentality that gives me confidence that he beats everybody." He continued, "I think he's been massively undersold. I think he should be not just an American superstar, but a global superstar. I think he's edgy. I think he's ballsy. I think he's unbelievably talented. And I'm going to do everything I can to give him the platform and the promotional push that his ability deserves. Mobile superstar."
Also, I think he can move to 140. He can fight Liam Paro. He could fight Devin Haney. But right now, the focus is 135.
For Shakur, the plan is this 2-fight plan of Joe Cordina. And if he's triumphant into the Zappa fight, and we'll show him during that period, our value will work together closely. Gervonta Davis. Everybody, I hope these are 2 fights that lead to the rest of Shakur Stevenson's career, with Matchroom on Stevenson's fight with Cordina not getting the greatest reception from fans. Hearn said, "I think this is a really, really good fight stylistically. This is a great matchup for Joe Cordina."
I think he's edgy. I think he's ballsy. I think he's unbelievably talented. And I'm going to do everything I can to give him the platform.
And actually, a great matchup for boxing too. Really skillful fighters. I think it's going to be a brilliant fight, and Shakur is a big favorite going into the fight, but Joe coming off the back of the Kakachi loss, having the extra weight at lightweight as well. It's a proper fight. Not to downplay it, but the last opponent Shakur Stevenson faced is someone Joe Cordina would easily beat, and probably the ones before that too. So Joe's a serious fighter.
No, he's very good friends with Jared Anderson. You know what I said to his
For me, the plan is Joe Cordina, then William Zepeda, and finally Gervonta Tank Davis. Once we've handled those over the next 6 months, Davis versus Stevenson will be the biggest fight in boxing. But we're not chasing Tank. We're chasing greatness, and that includes Tank because he's an unbelievable fighter. That's all for now. For the latest updates on news, events, and actions in the boxing world, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our quality content. Until next time, peace out.